WWF No Mercy 99 took place on October 17th in Cleveland, Ohio, not to be confused with the UK No Mercy that took place in May. Just over 18,500 are in attendance, an estimated 298,000 have bought the show on pay-per-view, which is the WWF's lowest pay-per-view number of the year. And tonight, Stone Cold Steve Austin has a chance to win back the WWF Championship when he meets Triple H in the main event. This is going to be Stone Cold's first title opportunity since losing the championship at Summerslam. He reinstated his old enemy Vince McMahon as top dog in WWF to get this opportunity. On SmackDown this week, Hunter said his career was over after a rattlesnake bit him when Raw went off the air, but it was all a ploy to get under Stone Cold's skin just before No Mercy, and the game ended up giving Austin a beatdown. Earlier on Heat, Triple H said his game plan was simple. He wanted to get Steve Austin so mad that Stone Cold would get himself disqualified in tonight's main event. But Vince told Hunter his master plan wouldn't work because the WWF Championship match is now a no-holds-barred encounter where anything goes. We have also got a tremendous ladder match to look forward to on this show. We've got Chinlock Chief Davey Boy Smith taking on The Rock, but the action begins with a Mideon vs Godfather grudge match. Bit of a weird choice for an opening match right here in my opinion. These two just had a match on SmackDown that the Godfather won, however after the bell he was attacked by Viscera. I just don't think the crowd investment's all that high here, and I don't think of an exciting opening match when I think of Godfather versus Mideon. Mideon previously refused a night with the Godfather's Creatures of the Night, saying he would prefer farm animals, and I wish to God I was joking. So Godfather says there's no offer available for Mideon tonight and he's just going to kick his opponent's ass. It started off well for the Godfather. He delivered a hook kick before looking for the hoe train early on, but Viscera was on the outside looking for his own hoe train and the Godfather got distracted. This allowed Mideon to take advantage and he seriously struggled when trying to drop Godfather on the barricade surrounding the ring. Viscera got in on the action too, and back inside the ropes Mideon delivers a back elbow. The lack of crowd noise for an opening match is pretty bad right now. To make matters worse, Mideon applies a chinlock, and while this would have me doing the wave and screaming best match ever, the Cleveland crowd aren't as easily impressed. The referee's too busy with Viscera when Godfather performs a sunset flip. The Godfather then gets choked out in front of his hose and Viscera gets in another cheap shot. And this is basically how the match continues on, Mideon pulling off weak looking offense while the big man attacks at every given opportunity. It's pretty boring. Mideon missed an elbow drop from Brett's rope and he takes multiple clotheslines for messing up. Godfather then performs a leg drop before going up for a Vader bomb, but Mideon gets the knees up and we go right back to the outside. This time though, Godfather dodges Viscera's attack and our match ends with Godfather performing the hoe train. The crowd did get on their feet for the final move of the match, but no one can say this was any good. It was a bad opener here and it shouldn't have started the pay-per-view. Referee Tim White dances with the Godfather's Creatures after the bell, so at least he had a good old time. Our next match made Mideon vs Godfather look like Flair vs Steamboat though. It's the fabulous Moolah getting a title shot against Ivory. Thankfully only 3 minutes were spared for this absolute car wreck. You'll see some of the worst selling in pro wrestling history if you sit through these 3 excruciating minutes. From Moolah taking a dropkick at the opening bell to Ivory taking a knee to the chest halfway through. Moolah also missed a splash from the bottom rope, a move that I didn't even think was possible. Mae Young got on the apron and she got knocked off multiple times, something that Jerry Lawler thought was absolutely hilarious. And Ivory also botched a middle rope dive. It's such a bad match. It ended with Ivory hitting Mae Young off the apron again, this time with her Women's Championship belt, and Moolah takes this opportunity to cover Ivory for the 1-2-3. Moolah wins the Women's Championship, and women's wrestling gets put back decades at No Mercy. Alright, here we go, this is more like it. The Hardy Cousins taking on the New Age Outlaws. On SmackDown, the Hardy Cousins cost the Outlaws their WWF Tag Team Championships. The Rock and Sock Connection are once again holding the belts and the Outlaws are out for revenge tonight. The Rock wasn't too happy with his team's victory on SmackDown, by the way. This was supposed to be the Rock and Sock Connection's final match together, and now that they're Tag Team Champions, the Great One has no choice but to continue teaming up with Mankind. Hardcore and Billy Gunn fight on the outside while Crash and Road Dogg go to work inside the ring. Billy tags in and he performs a body slam and elbow drop on young Crash, and after some quick double team action we go right back to Road Dogg and Crash. Billy won't get back in the ring now until the hot tag, as is tradition. The DOGG performs the shake, rattle and knee drop before getting dumped out of the ring by Crash. Hardcore gets in a few cheap shots before tagging in. Jesse's now going to take a lot of punishment from his two opponents, and it begins with a big vertical suplex from Bombastic Bob followed by a chin lock. It gets worse for the Road Dogg though as Crash comes in with yet another chin lock. He even cheats to get a little leverage, so Crash is well versed in the deadly arts of Chin Fu. Hardcore comes back in and he stands on his opponent's back. His top rope move doesn't connect, but he's still able to tag out before Road Dogg, and Lil Crash comes in to save the day. More quick tags from the Holly Cousins lead to Road Dogg getting put in yet another chin lock, and Billy Gunn's really getting a night off here. Must be nice being the guy who always gets the hot tag. Bastard Bob pulls off a tremendous dropkick and BA has to save his partner from getting pinned. Holly gets a little payback by smacking Billy in the face. He then goes upstairs again to try another top rope move, but this time he gets his little spark plug smashed on the top rope and the Road Dogg performs a superplex. Billy Gunn gets the hot tag, he fires up as always and the adrenaline allows him to press slam both of his opponents. He also delivers two stinger splashes as the crowd goes nuts, and he goes for the cover after hitting Crash with a jackhammer, but Mike Chioda's too busy with the Road Dogg. Hardcore goes to the outside, he grabs a steel chair, he tries to pass it to young Crash, but Billy uses the chair when pulling off a famouser. The referee sees all this go down and Chioda disqualifies Billy Gunn. Hardcore Holly seems very pleased with this outcome while the Outlaws look confused. So, sore loser Road Dogg attacks Hardcore after the bell and the Outlaws leave No Mercy with a loss on their record. I've said it countless times, you know what to expect when watching a New Age Outlaws match, and this one was very by the numbers. The infamous Good Housekeeping match is up next. IC champion Jeff Jarrett versus Chyna. It was widely reported that Double J held the company up for more money before going out to have this match. His contract expired the night before No Mercy. And in a recent interview with TalkSport, Jarrett confirmed that he got an offer from WCW 2 weeks before No Mercy that he couldn't refuse. According to Jeff, he wanted WWF to match that offer, they couldn't do it, so he negotiated a deal to work this match for 300 grand instead of the original agreed rate of 150 grand. Jarrett also shot down reports that this started a bitter feud between he and Vince McMahon, and here's what he said during that TalkSport interview. When it came down to it, I had a decision. Little did they know, I don't think I would have walked out without doing the honour. It's a bad taste that probably wouldn't have happened, but also I knew that I had leverage. They needed a piece of business done, I needed a piece of business done. The entire essence of the story is all salty and great tabloid fodder, but the person who delivered that check to me had the biggest smile on his face. He handed me the check, he gave me a big hug. It was Vince. That's not to say Vince McMahon didn't hold some underlying ill will towards Jarrett though, because Jarrett was the first person Vince belittled after purchasing WCW, and he also fired him live on TV. Double J wouldn't be seen again in the company until accepting his Hall of Fame induction in 2018. Anyway, the Double J character during the final days of his WWF run here are all about misogyny. He simply hates women and he thinks women shouldn't be anywhere near a wrestling ring. He defeated Chyna at Unforgiven after a decision got reversed in Double J's favour, but this time it's a no-holds-barred Good Housekeeping match. Basically, household items are going to be placed in and around the ring, and the competitors are encouraged to use these items during the match. Double J brings the proverbial kitchen sink to the ring, like we haven't saw that before, while Chyna opted for a brush and a trash can. The two fight on the outside and Jarrett gets dropped on the barrier. Chyna was able to pull this spot off better than Mideon. We see a microwave's been placed at ringside along with some bananas, a giant Alex Wright bratwurst and a bottle of Budweiser. So whoever grabbed these props definitely knows how to party. Jarrett takes a clothesline, an inverted atomic drop and a suplex before Chyna uses a trash can on her opponent. We then go outside where Chyna uses her brush to good effect. Double J then gets a toilet seat smashed on his head and he keeps that seat around his neck for an extended period of time. Chyna then shoves a banana in Double J's mouth. There's a joke to be made there, but I'm not the one that's going to do it. And Jarrett then gets some cream splashed on his head, which again, I'm not going to joke about. The challenger then clears a table and the champ finds himself laid out on top of it. Chyna goes for an elbow drop and it looked kinda comical when she crossed through the table ass first. This isn't enough to end the match though, and Chyna ends up taking a hard trash can shot from Double J. She also gets a fish slapped across her back, and this has to be one of the most random weapons ever used in a WWF match. Jarrett and Miss Kitty show off their cooking skills as they make an omelette. The secret ingredients are anger and passion, but Jarrett ends up getting some flour thrown in his face and Miss Kitty gets inside the ring to take the omelette over the head. The crowd loved this, and gotta admit, I am enjoying the chaos and sheer insanity of this match. The WWF's hardcore encounters have gotten a bit stale recently, and just having a different theme surrounding this one makes it all the better. Chyna finds herself in the figure 4 and it's not looking good for the challenger. She does make it to the ropes though, and for some reason Double J lets go of the hold. Miss Kitty then passes a pair of tongs to Double J and he tries a top rope move, but he ends up taking a low blow and Chyna takes control of those tongs. Say goodbye to your wee choppy, Mr. Jarrett. The insanity continues with Jeff getting a few pies smashed in his face before Chyna uses the kitchen sink. The fans think we have a new IC champion, but Double J kicks out. Chyna then tries to pedigree Jarrett on top of a cake because that'll surely do a lot more damage, but the delicious finishing move gets countered with a catapult and the referee gets wiped out. This allows Double J to use his IC championship to hit Chyna, and Jeff Jarrett gets the 1, 2, 3. Double J celebrates his victory, he goes to head back up the ramp, but Teddy Long realizes what just happened, and get this. Because the Intercontinental belt is not a household item, Jarrett has to return to the ring and the match is going to continue. Jeff's infuriated, he takes it out on Hard Finkel and Teddy Long. He tries to put the referee in the figure 4, but Chyna hits him with a guitar before the move gets applied. Chyna then covers Jarrett, and the 9th wonder of the world makes history by becoming the first ever female Intercontinental Champion. The match was ridiculous, but it was also a lot of fun. It's quite the exit for Mr. Jarrett, but now Chyna's going to have a lot of people coming after that Intercontinental belt. Not many guys were lining up to get pinned by a woman either during this era, so it's a very interesting time right here regarding the Intercontinental Championship. Still, a historic victory for Chyna tonight at No Mercy. Next up, it's the British Bulldog versus The Rock. Bulldog's been trying to get himself a WWF title shot, but he's went about it the wrong way. He aligned himself with Triple H at Unforgiven only to get screwed over the next night on Raw. He went to the UK Rebellion pay-per-view where he accidentally smashed Stephanie McMahon's skull in during a fit of rage, and Davey now believes if he can beat The Rock, he'll be one step closer to the WWF Championship. Bulldog did get a shot at Triple H on SmackDown, but The Rock officiated the match, giving us the famous line, 1, 2, it doesn't matter if The Rock counts to 3. And just on the past episode of Raw, Davey took a rock bottom onto a tray filled with dog poop. How nice. I don't think a single person in the arena thought Davey could win this match, but stranger things have happened. It begins with Bulldog getting sent to the outside in record time, though he is able to gain a short-lived advantage when he hits Rock's head off the timekeeper's table. Bulldog hits Rock with a steel chair, but the referee doesn't call for the bell. The two then throw each other into the ring steps. Davey drops Rock on the commentary table, and back in the ring, there it is. Davey Boy Smith. Chinlock. It's been a long time coming. Davey pulling off chinlocks on WWF pay-per-views. We're so back. Rock gets hit with a knee to the midsection, but he gets up and Bulldog takes that corner bump of his. While it does look good, I always remember when he took this bump at In Your House 5 while completely braining himself. Swinging neckbreaker from Rock, vertical suplex from Davey, and boom. Davey Boy Smith Chinlock. There won't be a better match than this at No Mercy. Everyone should just go home. The move stays applied for a lifetime, yet somehow The Rock gets out. Hulk Hogan levels of no selling right here. Davey thinks he's taking a body drop bump when Rock was going for a Samoan drop. Brilliant work, lads. And Rock then finds himself tied up in the ropes, but Davey misses a karate kick. I mean, what else was he going for? Rock finds himself in danger following the running power slam. That no good people's champion gets his foot on the bottom rope when the referee begins his count. And when Davey goes for it one more time, The Rock counters and we see the rock bottom. Davey's little 4-week push comes to an end when he takes the people's elbow, and so The Rock once again dashes away all our hopes and dreams. All joking aside, this wasn't a great match. This match here, along with the Rock's bout against Billy Gunn at SummerSlam, proves that Rocky belonged in the main events. He's almost wasted when working mid-card and upper mid-card. The Hardy Boyz take on Edge and Christian next. This is the final Terry Runnels Invitational match, and the winner of this one's going to receive 100 grand along with the managerial services of Mrs. Runnels. The best of 5 series has come down to both teams scoring 2 points, so we're going to set up a few ladders and the winners will literally have to secure the bag. We're going to make some superstars here, ladies and gents, and it begins with Matt getting caught between the middle and top ropes. I think this was because Jeff hit the ropes just before his brother. E&C try to grab the ladders, but they get stopped by Matt and Jeff. So the Hardy Boyz take a little punishment in the ring, but they do manage to stop Edge and Christian from getting the ladders again. They're building up a little suspense right here, but trust me, it pays off. We see some tandem offense from the Hardy Boyz before Gangrel gets ordered to grab the ladder. The referee doesn't allow this, and instead the Funky Vampire gets sent to the back. Edge dropkicks Jeff while the Hardy Boy was holding a ladder. Christian stops Matt from bringing the ladder in with a crossbody. Captain Charisma then sets the ladder up inside the ring, but he's pulled down by Jeff Hardy. Both Jeff and Edge try to secure the bag, but neither man can do it. Jeff ends up getting pushed into the corner while Christian holds the ladder, and Christian then uses the ladder as a ramp while dropkicking his opponent. Edge goes for an assisted crossbody, but he smashes into the ladder, and when Jeff goes up to grab the bag, he ends up taking a reverse DDT from Christian. From here, it's all bumps off the ladder. Christian takes a back suplex, Matt takes a powerbomb, Edge gets dropkicked while trying to climb up, and Jeff follows this up with a swanton bomb. Poetry in motion gets followed up with the Hardys using the ladder like a clothesline, and the high-risk offense continues with Jeff leapfrogging over the ladder to perform a leg drop. Never in WWF history has the ladder been utilised like this by all 4 men, and right now we're witnessing a new blueprint for ladder matches. The crowd give a standing ovation just because they appreciate the work, but we aren't done yet as Matt performs a moonsault. Edge brings the second ladder into the ring to stop Jeff winning the match, but this plan backfires when the future Rated R superstar tries to claim the bag. It really looks like these men don't care at all if they get injured here, and that's what's so gripping about the match. You really got to put yourself back in this time period to truly appreciate what was happening. Christian takes out the Hardys by hitting a crossbody on the ladder, and Matt then gets his ball smashed in the corner twice. Edge and Christian are now filled with confidence as they sandwich Jeff inside a ladder while repeatedly closing it over and over again, and Christian then throws caution to the wind when he lets his partner drop him on the ladder, all in the name of hurting Jeff Hardy. Both ladders get set up and Edge performs a downward spiral on Jeff. Matt then goes up to deliver a swinging neckbreaker on Edge. Christian and Jeff's exchange ends with Christian performing a hip toss off the ladder, and the men set up a big suplex spot while the ladders are set up like a seesaw. Jeff escapes this predicament and he takes out both his brother and Christian by leg dropping the teetering ladder. Absolutely insane stuff right here, and the fans can't get enough. The competitors get a great ovation from the audience as we head into the final stretch of the match. Both ladders get set up again and both ladders get pushed down while the competitors were up top. This time the crowd pops when all 4 men are on the mat, and Jim Ross says this is one amazing performance from these youngsters. The finish was pulled off pretty well too. Edge pushes Matt down from a ladder. Matt then pushes the other ladder. Jeff's able to jump up and take Matt's place against Edge, and a punch to the jaw knocks Edge to the canvas. Jeff Hardy secures the bag to win the best of 5 series, and the Hardy Boyz now have 100 grand plus the professional services of Terry Runnels. The Hardys head back up the ramp while the crowd cheers. The audience then give Edge and Christian a standing ovation, and do remember they didn't do this for any other superstars tonight, including The Rock. The Hardys celebrate backstage with their new manager, and there you have it. The bar's now set extremely high, and these guys maybe dug their own grave by having such a high risk, high impact match on pay-per-view, but they would somehow manage to top this when moving forward. Earlier on Sunday Night Heat, Mankind passed his book to The Rock while the Great One took the people's shit. Foley was then surprised when Rock came out of the restroom without his brand new autobiography, and it turned out that Mankind actually gave his book to his upcoming opponent, Mr. Val Venis. Venis blindsided Mick when Foley tried to retrieve his book, but Mrs. Foley's baby boy has a chance at revenge when he faces Val Venis next at No Mercy. First of all, The Rock comes out to deliver a quick promo. He wants to challenge the winner of tonight's main event. The Great One doesn't care if it's Steve Austin or Triple H. Rock wants a shot at the WWF Championship. Poor Davey's probably crying his eyes out right now. Rock says his fans will call him the People's Champ, the People's Choice, and the WWF Champion when he beats Austin or Triple H, if you smell what the Rock's cooking. Rock heads back up the ramp, and just before he gets through the curtain, he gets attacked by Triple H. Rocky takes so many sledgehammer shots that he should practically be dead right about now, and the beatdown's so bad that Rocky needs to get carried out on a stretcher. So this Mankind vs Val Venis rivalry all started when Venis stole Mr. Rocco and he used it to enhance the big Valboski. So Mankind hopes to beat Val Venis and retrieve his Rock sock tonight at the pay-per-view. Mankind says he's going to win this one for The Rock while that female medic is once again caught on camera. And yeah, Mankind and Venis had to follow that ladder match and they had an impossible task ahead of them. Mankind's taking this one personally, it seems, as he destroys Venis in the corner. Val is able to dodge the running knee strike, but Foley tries again after a back elbow and the move connects. Mick then digs deep into Venis's trunks to retrieve Mr. Rocco. What a sight to behold. And after a good long tug, Foley's able to get Mr. Rocco back, but he immediately loses him again after a low blow. Mr. Rocco gets put back down Venis's tights. I can't imagine how it smells down there. And we then go to the outside where Mankind briefly regains control. Mick uses a steel chair to do a little damage, but this backfires when Foley takes a pretty rough back suplex. He tries to shake this off when going for the mandible claw, but he gets his head rocked off the ring post and Venis puts the chair inside the ring. Teddy Long takes the chair away, but he still allows Venis to use it during a Russian leg sweep. Practically nothing these guys are doing right here is getting any kind of reaction. To be fair, I do think this is a bit of a mismatch, and I don't think these two make for good adversaries. It feels a bit random, even with the storyline we have going into No Mercy. Val keeps his advantage by smacking the back of Mick's head before connecting with a knee drop. Mankind stops a money shot attempt, but Venis fires back with a running bulldog. Venis then performs an elbow drop as Mick continues to be very given in this match. And when Val thinks Mankind's done for, he goes for his finisher again, but Mick dodges it. The match ends with a double arm DDT from Mick Foley. He then goes for the mandible claw, but Venis pulls out Mr. Rocco for the testicular claw. Both men are in danger of losing the match, but it ends with Venis falling on top of Mick, and surprisingly, Val Venis pins Mankind. Foley attacks Venis after the bell and he manages to get Mr. Rocco back. Venis runs away before Mick can do any more damage, so Foley at least got what he came for. He's got his book, he's got a tag team championship belt, and he's got Mr. Rocco. The Rock, meanwhile, still in a bad way backstage. Jim Ross wonders why The Rock hasn't been brought to hospital yet, and yeah, good point. We've got a 4 corners elimination match for our semi-main event. Bradshaw vs Faarooq vs X-Pac vs Kane. This one stems from X-Pac wanting to prove he belongs in the land of the giants, and it was Pac who suggested that these two square off with no alliances and no help from one another. Again, like the opener, I would have put this in a different spot on the card, even if the Kane and X-Pac story has been going on for a few months now. So while we've had some good action at No Mercy, the match order's been really weird. I think everyone expected X-Pac and Kane to square off as the two final combatants in the ring, but no, it played out a little differently. Before we get to that though, we saw the Big Red Machine perform an enziguri and X-Pac decided to tag himself in. Kane was reluctant to fight his little buddy, but Pac began pushing him around and Kane had no choice. Kid pulls off his corner spin kick and Kane replied with a big clothesline. Kane also had the opportunity to chokeslam Waltman, but Bradshaw tagged himself in before X-Pac got wrecked. We then got to see Faarooq and Bradshaw do a little work, but their exchange was incredibly short. Faarooq took a big boot while Bradshaw took a jumping shoulder block, and that was it, unfortunately. Kid then got his ass kicked by both acolytes, and it felt like we were slipping back into a regular tag team match. Pac gets a break following a tornado DDT, and at that point, Kane had seen enough. He tagged himself in so X-Pac could get a breather and Bradshaw got eliminated following a chokeslam. Immediately afterwards, X-Pac hit Kane with a top rope wheel kick and Kid successfully eliminated the Big Red Machine. The crowd was really indifferent to this elimination, by the way. It ends with Faarooq countering a Bronco Buster with a hard spine buster. Faarooq then tried a top rope move, but Pac delivers the X Factor to win this 4 corners match. Now that X-Pac's proven himself in the land of the giants, you gotta wonder what's next. Does he continue tagging up with Kane, or does he move on to something else? Main event time, WWF Champion Triple H defends his belt against Stone Cold Steve Austin. Austin's wanted to get his hands on Hunter ever since SummerSlam, and tonight he finally gets his opportunity. As a quick reminder, Vince McMahon, the man who Steve Austin reinstated so he could get this title shot, has made this main event a no DQ match. Hunter wanted to piss Austin off so badly that Stone Cold would get himself disqualified, but now that's out of the question. The pre-match build-up video here is tremendous. German group H-Blocks provide the music, and it's a song written specifically for Steve Austin, which got featured on WWF Volume 4. This track, Oh Hell Yeah, was then re-recorded by WWE by a completely different artist, and the updated version is absolute shit. Do yourself a favour and avoid it at all costs. As always, the crowd loves Stone Cold Steve Austin as he makes his way to the ring, and they absolutely hate Triple H. Folks still don't like to admit it, but Hunter was a fantastic heel during this era, and his crowd reactions each and every week prove it. Helmsley's got a sledgehammer tonight, but Vince McMahon shows up to take it away. This is kinda ridiculous, seeing as this is an ODQ match, but McMahon gets punched in the mouth, and Stone Cold attacks from behind. You may have noticed the floor beside the entranceway hasn't been covered tonight, and this oversight leads to both competitors slipping and falling when trying to fight each other. The hardwood floor looks very slippy, but the two continue their fight from one side of the stage to the other. Stone Cold nearly slips again when jumping from the barrier, but the move does connect. And the fight continues with Hunter getting thrown into a metal guardrail before Austin uses the same guardrail as a weapon. We then go through the crowd where we can't see a damn thing. Stone Cold finds a crutch though, and he uses it to do more damage to the WWF Champion, and my god, it's like absolute hell in there. The two end up back at the entranceway where Triple H gets thrown into another guardrail, and in a pretty creative spot, Stone Cold then takes over a camera crane and Triple H gets whacked. Yeah, Hunter had to put his hand up to make contact, but still a pretty fun little spot. We're a long way from the ring right now as these two begin fighting on the rampway. We finally make it down the ringside, but these two are in no rush to step inside the ropes. Triple H gets crotched on the barrier before Stone Cold delivers a clothesline, and we go back into the audience where Triple H finally goes on offense with a backdrop. He gets a little confident and he tries a pedigree, but Stone Cold counters and Triple H gets catapulted into Mike Chioda. The referee had all the time in the world to move out of the way, but he just stood there like an idiot. Our referee's still knocked out as our match finally gets in the ring. Triple H takes a Stone Cold Stunner, but there's no one there to count the pinfall. Austin goes out to retrieve the official, but he ends up getting wiped out again when Hunter counters a second Stunner, and this time it's Triple H performing his finishing move, but again there's no one to count the pinfall. Earl Hebner runs down, Austin gets his shoulder up, the game and the WWF's head referee get into a shoving match, which always gets a great reaction. But before Hebner gets taken out too, Austin gets up and the competitors share right hands. Stone Cold delivers the Luthez press and the elbow drop, and from here we go back to the outside where Triple H takes a bump at the commentary table. We can see Helmsley's busted open and Stone Cold chokes him out. We go back to the ring so Austin can land more punches before Triple H gets thrown out again. Triple H takes a ring step bump before getting choked out, but he turns it around by using a ring bell, and strangely, Jerry Lawler says Austin's a bloody mess, yet he hasn't got a scratch on him. The champ performs a release suplex onto the Spanish announce table before we go back inside the ropes. Hunter then goes for the injured knee, but he might be utilising his game plan a little too late. Still, Austin gets his leg wrapped around the ring post a few times and Hunter keeps his focus on the body part. The match slows down with a knee submission from Triple H. The crowd try to will Austin back into it, but the champ performs his facebreaker knee smash and Austin has to kick out of multiple pin attempts in quick succession. Maybe with a little desperation, Triple H goes out to grab a steel chair, but neither man can use it as both competitors fend each other off. Triple H goes upstairs, he ends up getting suplexed. The chair's still in the ring as Austin goes for the cover and Triple H kicks out at 2. The men then fight for the steel chair and Stone Cold ends up taking it, and the crowd goes crazy as Triple H takes multiple chair shots. The end is near for the WWF Champion and it looks like there's nothing he can do at this point. Austin delivers shot after shot and Jim Ross says Stone Cold's trying to end Triple H's career, but somehow the champ's able to hit a quick low blow and the crowd then pop again while looking at the entranceway. The Rock's making his way down the ringside and he's holding Triple H's sledgehammer. Rock gets in the ring, he sizes Triple H up, he swings the sledgehammer but Hunter dodges it and Austin takes all the impact. The Rock then takes a pedigree and Triple H covers Austin for the 1-2-3. Against all odds, Triple H has defeated Steve Austin and The Rock screwed up big time. You gotta think that Austin's gonna come after Rocky now too. Triple H walks back up the entranceway holding the WWF belt, but Stone Cold gives chase and we have another fight before the pay-per-view goes off the air. Stone Cold continues his attack in the backstage area while Triple H gets annihilated, though Helmsley's able to escape when Chyna opens up a limo door for the champion. The show fades out with Austin looking extremely pissed off as Triple H drives out of the Gund Arena. The tag team ladder match at No Mercy is simply must-see. The men set a standard here that lives on to this very day. I also enjoyed the Good Housekeeping match for how ridiculous it was, and I also enjoyed the main event. I've mentioned before how the WWF like to shortcut their main events quite a lot by having guys fight outside the ring for the vast majority of the bout, but this time the brawling felt very heated and it wasn't just throwing punches and kicks for 10 minutes or so. The rest of No Mercy was pretty rough. The opener and the Women's Championship match were both bad. As much as it pains me to say it, The Rock vs Bulldog felt like a waste of time. I don't think Val Venis and Mick Foley meshed together very well. And the semi-main was alright, but you'd expect the same kind of action on Raw or SmackDown. Still, do check out the recommended matches and also check out Reliving the War next week to see what happens next. Steve Austin has some unfinished business, but at the same time, we could be kicking off another Rock vs Austin rivalry in the WWF. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I do appreciate it. And please take care.
Most of the time, quite a lot of the time.